What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the best ways to shiny hunt for Tepig and for Charmander in Pokemon Legends ZA. Of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting my work by joining the PanFro Games membership. And let's dive in. Now, Wild Zone 20 has two spawners. One that is right over here, like right underneath this corner, and just one that is just a little bit west of the corner over here. Now, these two spawners are separate, but they do have the same spawn pools. So the first spawner is right here, and that's a Charmander. Now, you can overload this spawner to 4, so you can get Charmander, Tepig, Lucario, and Hippowdon all at once. You cannot have two Charmanders coming at once or two Tepigs coming at once from one particular spawner. But the other spawner is over where that Lucario is, and that's actually the furthest point of that spawner. This spawner in general that can spawn Lucario, Hippowdon, Charmander, and Tepig only can spawn 3 Pokemon. So you get 3 overloads here, 4 overloads there, and that means you have a total of 7 Pokemon. Essentially, the first spawner will guarantee you both a Charmander and Tepig, and then this second one is going to be guaranteeing you 1 Fire Starter. You could get both, but it's only 3 spawns and a total of 4 Pokemon that could spawn, so it is hit or miss if you're always going to get it. Now, to actually do this process, I will recommend having a Pokemon with Taunt. A lot of Pokemon can learn Taunt. I just have Taunt on my Chandelure. And we're just going to run up to this Lucario, use Taunt on it so it doesn't use setup moves like Swords Dance, which is just very annoying. We want it to attack us and run up to us, and we essentially want to break its leash. So we need him to chase us. Come on, he's just going to be very annoying. All right, he shook off the Taunt again. This process does take a good minute, unfortunately. Especially if you start with Lucario. Hippowdon is so much easier. So you could reset for Hippowdon spawn. Come on. All right. Come on. Come on. Come on, Lucario. Okay, so now we're going to save our game. You can see the aggression left. There's no more red on the screen. So you're going to save your game. You're going to reset your game. Reload your game. Now, what we have done is we have broken Lucario's chain, but his spawn point is now moved. And now we're going to move him again because he is not far enough away from his original spawn point, and we need to make sure that another Pokemon will spawn in his position. All right, so that's good enough. That's good enough distance-wise. I didn't technically break his chain, but I got far enough away to make him move his spawn point. Okay, now you can see Lucario is here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out this gate, and I'm going to move 65 meters away from Lucario. So he is right over here. We are just going to put a pin on him, and we are going to move 65 meters. Now, that's pretty good. That's his original spawn point. So 60 to 70 is the recommendation. Do not go over 70, because if you go over 70, the Pokemon will despawn. But I like going on the higher side, because I just want to make sure we are far away from the original spawn point that the game thinks, oh, you're far enough away, and because the Pokemon that was here is just gone for some reason, we are just going to add a additional spawn to the game. So if you did this correctly, your Lucario or whatever Pokemon you brought is going to still be here, and then we are going to make sure that, and it is here, and then we are going to drag the Lucario back to its original spawn area, but also make sure that there is an additional spawn there. So essentially, we have duplicated the spawn. So let's see if we did this correctly. Come on, Lucario. It's time to walk the dog. All right, so I have brought the Lucario. I'm going to save my game. Now, ideally, you would save reload, but you should have probably checked if you already had the additional spawn. I did not because Lucario was horrible, but I'm pretty confident we have an additional spawn here. So what we're going to do is we can just leave the Lucario and chill, and we're just going to go up here. And do I have an additional spawn? I do. There is a Lucario right here, which is from the same spawner as this Lucario. So what we can do now is, because I'm confident that I brought the Lucario close enough to the original spawn point, is I am just going to reset this zone. Now, the best way to reset this zone, well, actually, I'm going to bring him a little bit closer just to make sure. I like going past the gates because technically he is not in the fire zone right now. So if he just wants to move a little bit closer, then I'm going to feel a little bit safe about doing this. All right, so I feel good. I think this is safe enough. He is close to his original spawn. I'm going to escape. I'm going to pause my game, and then I'm going to fly to Wild Zone 20. I'm not going to fly to the plaza. I'm going to fly to Wild Zone 20. This is essentially just a safety check on it not breaking my spawn. Now, it shouldn't break my spawn in general, but we're going to walk on over. And I'm taking the inside path here, because on the inside path, it does not despawn the Pokemon. So as you can see, we have spawner number 1. The spawner we did not touch is over here. The spawner we did touch is over there. So we have 2 Pokemon in that spawner. We have 1 Pokemon in this spawner. That means we successfully overloaded this spawner. And now we have 2 Pokemon. We have Lucario and we have Charmander now. So now we're going to do the exact same thing we just did with Lucario, but this time I'm going to pull the Charmander, who's a lot easier. It is vital that you do save and reload your game, and then you fly back to Wild Zone 20 to make sure the duplicate spawn stays. That is just a guaranteed way it's going to work. So like I did in the previous section, make sure the Pokemon is close enough to the original spawn, then save your game, turn off your game, start the game up again, and then you want to fly. That is how you need to do it, because you need to move this spawn within the range of the original spawn point. It is so vital for that to happen. Now, the max spawns for this particular spawner is going to be 3. We have 2 right now, so we're going to make 1 more additional duplication. I am pulling this Charmander. We're going to do the exact same thing as we did with the Lucario in the previous section. We're going to break his chain. We're going to save the game, reload the game. So we have broken his chain. Now we're going to save and reload, and then I'm going to drag him just a little bit further, maybe about like 25 meters from there, just to guarantee that the game will load in another spawn when we come back. All right, and we're dragging the Charmander once again. Come on. Come on. His chain should break any moment. All right, perfect. His chain broke. Save the game, reload your game, and then we are now going to get between 60 and 70 meters away from the Charmander. Charmander has a new spawn. We are just going to run back over to it, and we are going to go about 60 to 70 meters away from the spawn point. Just put a pin on it to make your life a little bit easier. This pin can be a little bit annoying. That's sort of close. That's where we're going. All right. So run any direction. And I'm going to stop at 65. 65 is always safe to me. It's just far enough, but it's not too overcommittal. Save the game, reload the game, and then if we've done this right, the Charmander is still going to exist. If the Charmander is not there, that means you did it wrong, and you're going to have to redo the whole process again. And then, if the Charmander is there, we are going to go back to the spawn, bring the Charmander with us, and we're going to hope there is another duplicate spawn there. All right, the Charmander is there, and I'm just going to bring the Charmander back home. All right, we're walking the Charmander. I'm going to save my game, and I'm going to reset my game. And now, at this point, I'm going to double check if we have an additional spawn at the spawner. So we are hoping to see 2 spawns at the spawner, and with the Charmander, that's a total of 3 spawns there. So let's see if we got it right. So I see 1 spawn, which is good. I see 2 spawns. Perfect. So we have successfully created another spawn. So now we just need to make sure the Charmander comes back to the original spawn point. Just make sure it enters the fire area. I just like to be safe and go past like somewhere around here. Try to get it. I don't know the exact spot, but this should be fine. I'm going to save my game, reload my game. And then the Charmander is going to respawn right where you left it. And then we are going to fly to Wild Zone 20. You do not want to do the plaza at this point, because Wild Zone 20 fly will guarantee work and not despawn the Pokemon. So now we're going to fly to Wild Zone 20. The Charmander is going to be essentially put back into the spawn pool. And now that back spawner should have 3. And once again, if you're going to walk it out, do the interior in general. Don't take the bridge. Take the interior. So I see 1, 2, 3. We did it. We have overloaded this spawn to its absolute max. Now, if you follow this guide correctly, you will have 3 back spawners and none in the front, because we have not covered the second pool yet. And now we can actually start an AFK shiny hunt. If you did the front pool, then this method is not going to work and you're actually about to despawn them all. So disregard it, and you should only have the 3 back ones here, and then you'll have 1 regular spawn in the front as normal. So what we're going to do is you have an 8-bit Do Pro 3 controller. I have an AFK macro for this. You're going to hit the macro button and make sure your map is zoomed out as well. Make sure it's all the way zoomed out to make this work. Now you're going to hit your macro button after you have flown to the plaza. So fly to the plaza. Your map is all the way zoomed out. Your text setting is on fast. And now you're going to hit this macro button. And it's going to run along the side for you. It's just going to run along the side. And you're actually going to be getting all 4 Pokemon spawns with this method. And the beauty of this macro is it just flies back for you, which is really chill. So because we didn't spawn any of the Pokemon in the front, except for the 1 guaranteed one, none of the ones in the back are going to be despawning. So we're going to be getting 4 checks every single time with at least 1 fire starter. Guaranteed every time, 1 fire starter. Now, because there is going to be 4 spawns, you could potentially get 2 fire starters. You can potentially get 3 fire starters. But you're only going to be capping at a guaranteed 1 total starter. But it's a pretty nice AFK method. Now, the downside of this AFK is this is not an overnight AFK. When it hits nighttime, you will need to grab the controller and just fly back to the plaza manually and then re-hit the macro button. Also, make sure that the map is zoomed out as far as possible and your text speed is on fast, or this will not work. I'm also playing on the Switch 2, so the timing on the Switch 1 could be a little bit different. You might need to put some additional delays to the macro that is provided on the screen. So hopefully this will help you out. This is how I got myself a shiny Tepig while I was just doing my regular job. So it's a really good shiny hunting method. As you can see, we got a couple Tepigs there. And you can potentially get a shiny alpha as well, because all the alpha chances are 5% here. So it's a pretty decent method if you're just doing this while you're doing your job or something like that. Now we need to set up the front fire spawner. Now, 2 important notes. Never, ever fly to this plaza if you are setting this up. You will despawn your Pokemon. Never fly here. You will despawn the front ones. Secondly, if you're going to fly, you're going to fly to Wild Zone 20. This is the safe one to fly to. Number 3, when you come from Wild Zone 20, never take the bridge. Always run on the interior. You can also check on your 6 alpha Pokemon that you probably set up. Run on the interior. Take the interior. This will not despawn these Pokemon. This is what you need to do to be absolutely safe. So this time I'm going to show off with the easiest Pokemon, which is going to be the Hippowdon. So come on, Hippowdon. I'm going to be taking him... Well, if I can get his attention. I'm going to be taking him to the Wild Zone 20 entrance from its fast travel point. Through the water area. Now, to make this easier, I would actually probably recommend you take out the Malamars and Dragalges here, because they can absolutely get in the way if they spot you. They can be very annoying. Okay, so we're going to save our game. We got 1 chain break here. Now we're going to save our game, reload the game. Try to take these guys out. They are not going to be your friends in this process. These Malamars, these Dragalges, just like take them out. They are only going to be a hindrance. All right, there you go. And we got his attention while we're doing that too. Just make sure you don't knock out the Pokemon you're dragging, because that would be horrible. So we should break his chain soon. All right, so I'm going to save my game. Turn off my game. Reload my game. Now we are going to go back to the Hippowdon, but now we're outside. And we're going to put a pin on the Hippowdon. And then we're going to go away 65 meters. That's close enough. 65. Don't go over 70 or it will not work. 65. There we go. Save our game. Reload our game once again. So let's go here. Hippowdon is still here. We did it. We didn't go too far. Once again, we got a Dragalge. He's gonna be annoying. He's gonna ruin our save stuff. So I'm just gonna go KO this Dragalge. Just gonna drop a Draco on him. Heavy Slam is nice to see. Hippowdon, the easiest thing to drag. Always try to get a Hippowdon, honestly. It's just gonna be the easiest thing. So we're gonna break his chain again. Save our game. Reload our game. And now we're going to double check. Did we get is there going to be one spawn at the spawner? If there is, then we did it right. Spawn back. There's a Hippowdon on the spawner, which means we did it correctly. We have successfully duplicated this Hippowdon. Now, I just want to make sure the Hippowdon is within the fire zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Hippowdon right there. I'm going to save my game, turn off my game, and then I'm going to reload my game. All right, I'm going to fly to Wild Zone 20. Do not fly to the plaza or it will break. And then if you're going to enter from Wild Zone 20, make sure you go to the interior. Always go through the interior. Never take the bridge. And we should see 2 Pokemon here. And we do have 2 Pokemon. We have a Charmander, Hippowdon. Now we have successfully duplicated the spawn here. And we can do this 2 more times. So I'm going to see you on the other side of after I do it 2 more times. Now we have successfully overloaded our spawns to hit 7. And what we're going to do now is the second shiny hunting method. So it's actually what we've been doing this entire video is you run on the interior. Do not run on the bridge or you will despawn some of the Pokemon. But if you just fast travel Wild Zone 20 and you run through the whole zone, you will see that we have all these spawns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. So once again, you are guaranteed 7 spawns. If you do this method correctly, you're going to be guaranteed 3 fire starters every single time. And make sure you're only flying to Wild Zone 20. If you fly to the plaza, you will despawn the Pokemon in the front. You do not want that to happen. If you run over the bridge, you will slowly decay the front spawner. Do not do that. Run on the interior. You also get to check on, your alphas. But once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So you can just keep on doing this as a pretty decent shiny hunting method. Go outside here, fly back to Wild Zone 20, and do that over and over and over again. It's a pretty good method. And honestly, I like it a lot. This is a good method that, I've done on stream before, and I think it's pretty solid. And I would highly recommend doing this. But of course, you cannot AFK this method. It's just not possible. So you're just going to have to keep that in mind. But I do think this is one of the most efficient ways to do it. Now, this final method is going to require you that you have the front spawners full of the 4 spawns. We don't care about these spawns. We're only going to be manipulating these 4. We're going to be able to isolate Shiny Hunt for Charmander and Tepig if we do this correctly. Now, you're going to fly to Wild Zone 20. And we are going to go across to the Wild Zone. But we don't want to touch the bridge. Don't touch the bridge. Go more interior like I am. Go around. And we're going to look at the Pokemon spawns. So we should have our 4 spawns. We have our 4 spawns for this area, which is good. So what we want to do is we care about the Pokemon's positioning. So we know where their Pokemon positioning is. And a couple of this is going to be a little bit annoying. Because you could do this with just Charmander and just Tepig. But I want to be able to show off both of them. So you're going to want to have both the Charmander and the Tepig in the back spawn spots. You don't want them in the front spots. So like the Tepig in the front is not going to be ideal. The Charmander is perfect where he is, but ideally I would want either Hippowdon or Lucario in this front spot, and I could deal with the Charmander or Tepig at the light pole at that back spot, maybe even here. I just don't want a fire starter in the front here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fly back to Wild Zone 20, and we're just going to get a nice position. This can definitely take a couple of tries to get the right positioning. I got a decent position here. I got the Hippowdon in the front. We have a Lucario in the back, which I can work with, but it is annoying. I'm going to taunt the Lucario. Now, we are going to get the attention of this Tepig, which is not ideal. But I just want this Lucario to come with me. Ideally, it hits me with an extreme speed. I'm going to have to taunt him again. The important thing is just don't get the attention of the Tepig or Charmander. You don't want to move them from their original spots. And we want to try to move them right in front of the gate. Perfect. Perfect. As long as you don't faint, leave the wild area, save your game, then you're going to reload your game, and then you have moved the Lucario and the Hippowdon spawns right to the front. The Tepig and the Charmander spawn should be chilling where they are. So because all 4 Pokemon are up, the Charmander and Tepig will just respawn as essentially one or the other. So now we need to figure out the perfect walking distance to despawn and respawn both Pokemon at the same time. So we have our 2 spawns. We have Charmander's over here, Tepig's over here now because I was walking back and forth. So my pin for the Tepig is a little bit off. Okay, that's pretty perfect, right? Maybe move it a little bit further back. So, okay, we need to be 70 meters away from there. 70 meters away from this Tepig. And when we are 70 meters away, we know we have despawned it. All right, so we have despawned it going here. We have despawned it going here as well. So pretty much when we get right here in this area, this is despawning the Tepig. Now, when we get within 50 meters, the Pokemon will spawn in. Now, we may not see it because the render distance is lessened because of the Wild Zone green. However, if it's shiny, we will immediately see it. If it's an alpha, we will immediately see it because alphas have a higher render distance than regular Pokemon. So keep that in mind. So we know we need to move back here for the left spawn. Now, how about the Pokemon on the right, the Charmander or whatever? That could be a Tepig because we did despawn that spot a couple times. But that is still Charmander. We just need to run up to it, and we need to get the perfect pin. The perfect pin is, I mean, a little bit right there, a little bit lower. Perfect pin, pretty much. So once again, we're going to have to figure out where 50 and 70 are. So let's go to 70. 70 is right over here. Right here. So to be safe, let's say this tree. This tree is going to be the perfect despawn point. Now, how far do we need to respawn this Charmander? It's essentially to this light pool, right? So that's going to respawn that spot. Now, we know for a fact 70 will despawn both right here. And pretty much we are going to be within the 50 for the other spawn right over here as well. So essentially, light pull here to this tree over here is we are just going to run back and forth. And if we just keep doing this over and over and over again, you're eventually going to start seeing some alphas. There's a 5% chance to get an alpha spawn in. But once again, as long as you're within 50 meters of the actual spawn point there, you see the alpha Charmander, we're close enough for that. And then we're going to despawn it when it hits the 70, go around the tree. It's going to despawn that. Just pay attention to the other spawn point over here. I just want to double check where the respawn is because I know where the despawn is. Is this light pull accurate? Let's just double check. So this is right here for the 50. So essentially, I was right. The light pull to this tree is going to be what you need to do. So you can essentially just run laps. Just do one big loop over and over and over again. Now, something that's important, if you decided to fast travel to go somewhere else, you will have to reset this whole process again. The spawns will reset to their original positions. So you are committed to this shiny hunt now by doing this, which is a little bit annoying if you had other plans. And day-night time reset will ruin this as well. Which is why when you made that save to lock into Lucario and the Hippowdon, you are essentially going to keep on reloading that save until you get one of the Pokemon shiny. Now, throughout this entire process, if you get a shiny Pokemon, you can catch it, and then you will have to replace the spawn, which is a little bit annoying. So it's not permanent, any of these spawns, in the sense that you catch it, you knock it out, that duplicate spawn will go away. So just keep that in mind for any of these shiny hunting methods. It's going to be very important to understand that. Now, if I did get a shiny Tepig or a Charmander, it's going to stay there forever until I decide to catch it. So I could just keep doing this method and just wait for both of them to shine, as an example. Something that's also really important during this process is do not go beyond the 70 for the front gate, because you don't want to despawn the Lucario and Hippowdon, but you're going to have to go really far for that to happen. So just make sure you don't make a mistake. However, I was recording this. I literally think doing this for about 5-10 minutes. And we have ourselves a shiny Charmander already. Shiny Charmander. And you can see he's just chilling. He's just vibing. Sometimes he might switch to spawns. But, like, he's going to just keep on being here. So you can just keep on running back and forth and back and forth. But we got the shiny Charmander. So this method definitely works. It literally took me like 10 minutes of just making this part of the video. That he's over there now. And yeah, we can just catch the Charmander and have a good time now. And this is freaking incredible. Get your favorite Pokeball out. But look at him. Look at that guy. Look at that little guy. Hi, little dude. Hi, little dude. What's up, dude? Now, I do gotta knock him out to try to catch him. I will, of course, recommend saving your game before you try to catch these Pokemon because, you know, you don't want to lose it. So just keep that in mind while you're doing this is always try to save your game and make sure that you don't make a mistake. And there you go. That is how you best shiny hunt for Charmander and Tepig in Pokemon Legends ZA. Use the method that you're most comfortable with. But I will say the third method is absolutely the best. I will say shout outs to Papa Jeffe for finding the last method there. That was really incredible. So shout outs for them for figuring out that awesome method. Anyways, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.